Glad to have you on the program Talk Sport this beautiful day right here in Nigeria's capital city. It's Global TV. And when we come Monday to Friday, we bring to you stories that are making headline. Of course, the AFCON celebration is still in the lives of Nigerians, as well as the winning country, talking about Ivory Coast. The latest FIFA ranking shows that Nigeria has made remarkable progress. And of course, we'll be looking at the matches that brought in the finals between Nigerian Super Eagles and, of course, the Elephants of Ivory Coast. And one of us who was at the venue of the final is here with us in the studio, and we'll be going straight to take a look at some of the untold stories that saw that the entire stadium was yellow or orange, if you ask me, and then you could just point out some few fingers on the green, white, green in far away Ivory Coast. So we take a look, and of course, Samson Odi is also in the house. Will also be joining us to give us update on latest as far as sport is concerned. But let's go straight to Ivory Coast, and we're stopping at the doorsteps of the man who have seen it all, talking our own man. Chris is in the house. Chris, can I say bonjour?
Of course. Bonjour.
Okay, Chris, let's go. You were at the finals precisely, and it looks like the entire environment was orange. What happened to the fans from Nigeria? Only a pocket hands of the supporters club who are the official. Was there a gameplay?
Well, for me, I think Côte d'Ivoire deserve the trophy. Apart from the play on the pitch, they actually did their homework very well off the pitch. A day before the match, I went to the market in Jamel. They call it Jamel. And I saw so many Ivorians buying the T-shirts, including foreigners, Moroccans, all of the Angolans, all the teams we defeated. They all went to buy the Ivorians jersey, and they were all supporting the Ivorians in Côte d'Ivoire. They call them Côte d'Ivoire. Actually, they don't like being called Ivory Coast because that's the English word of Côte d'Ivoire. But on that day, I think we were not there. We were not just ready. It looks as if we are not interested in the trophy, because you can just count the number of supporters club in that stadium on that day. We were less than 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. Apart from the journalists, they were less than 2,000. And what can 2,000 do against almost 80,000 persons? At a point, they were not beating their band anymore because nobody was hearing them, including the Super Eagles. You know, the Super Eagles, we know, anytime they are not playing well and they hear those songs, that it will boost their morale, but it was not there. They were like in a lion's den. In a lion's den, they were just all alone. I think you just have to give it to them. They give a good account of themselves.
So you want to say that the Ivorians won the game in the pitch, they also won the game off the pitch?
Of course, they did their homework very well.
Now let's look at what point did you saw that it was going to be difficult for the trophy to hit Sevilla?
Well, it was when in the first half, even when we were leading by 1-0, I was not too sure of us winning.
What were you saying that some of us were not saying? Because in the first half, some of us were already beating the drums and preparing the way for the cup.
I must give it to the Ivorians fans. They actually tried. If we were to be Nigeria fans, they would have been booing the Super Eagles. When they were losing 1-0, they started chanting and making a hell of noise in that stadium. And that was what actually motivated the players to raise their game. And when it was still 1-0 first half, I knew that we were not safe, especially when the coach adopted this sit-back tactics. I was not comfortable. Could you believe that I left the stadium, I watched the remaining 45 minutes in the media center. I couldn't bear it. If you look up, you see the crowd everywhere. It was as if they were going to swallow you up. And let alone, we were just journalists, we were scared of watching. It's not only me, about 3-4 of us left the stadium. We were not comfortable with the atmosphere, let alone the players. Anytime they touch the ball, they are always booing them. They will boo them when they touch the ball, they will boo them. You know, those guys were not, you just have to give it to the Super Eagles. I was even surprised I didn't concede more than 2-0.
Now, let's look at the spirit behind the Ivorian. They were humiliated in front of their own found by 4 goals to nothing,
Yeah.
courtesy of Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria had no pity of them. In their own backyard, they were beaten. So what was the motivation that kept them upgoing until the last day they finally won the trophy in which they invested so much?
Well, you can't compare when there's a trophy at hand and ordinary 3 points. You can't compare the two. I was also expecting the coach also to have watched the match Equatorial Guinea played against them and look out for the loopholes there. But I don't know whether he did that. What I saw was that after we scored, he was just trying to defend the game. We were just trying to defend, which did not help us. So for me, I think the atmosphere in the final was just different. It's a different game entirely because there was a trophy at hand to be won.
Was there any sign of a confidence that this is a team we have won, so it's just a walk pass? Was there any sign like that? I'm talking about the match between the Super Eagles and host Ivory Coast. Chris was at the stadium. Were our boys showing so much level of confidence, especially when the first goal came?
No, not at all.
So what went wrong with the
I don't
Eagles?
really, just like I said, apart from that, some of them were playing with injuries. Like the goalkeepers, he had injuries on his 2 fingers. During the only day they gave us to go and see the team, we were actually begging him to just manage and be imposed. Because ordinarily, if we were to be clubs football, I don't think they were allowing to play. But because of patriotism, this guy decided to play that final. The same thing with Aino. Aino was not fit. He has been struggling. You know, Osimhen had been injured ever since he played against Cameroon. Ekong did not train before playing South Africa. He did not train before playing South Africa because of injury. That's why you see bandage on his lap. So many of them had some other injuries like that. Zaidu, a day before the match, he was not training with the team. No, 2 days before the match, he was not training with the team. So you can see what those guys went through. It was because of patriotism these guys played with injury. So I don't know whether they got exhausted and the coach did not notice it. But for me, Osimhen too was also injured. So I don't know if it's because of that. But all I know is that the Ivorian fans were key players on that final day.
Some are of the opinion of a god of soccer. Was anything like God of soccer from what you said?
I don't think so. If you do your homework well, I don't think there will be any need for... God is not a partial God. Except it's a small G God you are talking about. But God is not a partial God. If you do your homework well, you win. That is what I just... But the Super Eagles, you must give it to them.
Yeah.
Throughout the game, throughout the tournament, there was nothing like overconfidence. Nothing like that. They were just humble throughout. That was the first time I was seeing Super Eagles playing without even raising their shoulder as if we have arrived. That was what happened in the past, especially in the last one in Cameroon. But this one, they were just so humble throughout. Even in the final where they were leading, they were not. It's just that things did not go on the way they wanted. I want to believe it's injury.
No host country has ever suffered defeat in the finals of the African Cup of Nations except Nigeria in 2000 when the indomitable Lions of Cameroon ran away with the trophy in Lagos when a goal scored by Victor was disallowed by courtesy of the central referee from Tunisia. Was that another factor? Was it that Ivory Coast were hosting to win? Was that a factor that actually gave them the momentum to go all out, that it is a tradition that we host to win?
No.
If you get to the final.
Initially, when they started, that was what they had at the back of their mind. But when they lost 4-0, that disappeared.
It was obvious that something...
Yes, it disappeared. And that was why they had that courage to sack the coach, because they thought they won't qualify anymore. They never believed that they were going to qualify with 2 points. They never. And even when they qualified, they were just playing, let's just cash fund. And incidentally, some of us, Nigeria, were even praying for them. Anytime they are playing, we were always wear, some of us wear the jersey and be supporting them. You know, we were praying for them to just continue so that the tournament will be more interesting. You know, the more they are there, the more the fans will come to the stadium to watch games. So we never believed that it was going to it was going to affect us in the final. So they never believed that they were going to win the trophy. Even when they were playing the final against Super Eagles, they didn't believe that they were going to win. That was why when they were celebrating, the celebration was wide.
And we saw the body language from Didi Drogba in their last game, and that it shows that
even the minister was dancing like a small child. Everybody they couldn't believe it.
Now the Ivorian Cup of Nations, so much surprises. Ghana repeated what happened in Cameroon with sent packing at the group stage. African #1 team Morocco were not seen in the last 4. Egypt were also sent packing. Cameroon were also sent packing. Algeria. But let's look at Morocco. What went wrong? Morocco went into the tournament as number 13, the best in Africa, number 13 overall. But they couldn't make to the last 4.
Well, so many things went wrong.
Was any weather fatigue? Was any other thing that you feel?
Actually, weather also contributed. Even in the final for Nigeria.
And water break was always everywhere.
When you, by this time in Cote d'Ivoire, you are always already feeling hot. Except you are in the AC, under the AC. If you are outside, you are hot. And the night especially is always hot. The reason is because they are surrounded by water. And you know, during the dry season, the water will generate heat. So, and you know the Ivorians, they are used to their weather already. So no matter what, they will always know how to manage it. So one of the reasons also is because our players were exhausted at the time because of the weather. They are not used to that kind of weather. So I want to believe that Morocco, they have new set of players in that team. The likes of Ziyech, the likes of Amrabat, they actually struggled throughout. Even their goalkeeper, the Sevilla goalkeeper, that is a Moroccan, he didn't do well. I don't really know, apart from the fact that they have new set of players in that team. I don't know other things that, and if you look at it also, some teams also came to the party. Some unknown teams, like Equatorial Guinea. Nobody believed that they were going to top our group, where we have Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria. So many teams also came to the party. Cape Verde also. You can see Cape Verde also. I think they topped their team also, their group. So some teams are coming up, while the big ones who believe that they are already there couldn't meet up.
Let's go to Egypt. Do you think Mohamed Saleh will ever win the African Cup of Nations?
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. His case will be like Didier Drogba. That's how his case is going to be. You know, a tree cannot make a forest. That is the case with Salah. And if Salah is not playing, others will not play. When he had that injury, I just told somebody, I said, that's the end of Egypt. And exactly what happened. You know, there are some players that will make others to play. When they see you as a role model. They see you as the leader. If the leader is not there in a troop, you know what it means. They will just kill all every other soldier. But if there is a leader, the leader will be able to direct them on what to do. And that was what helped Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria. Kessie, when the white man was coaching them, he was always keeping Kessie on the bench, using Sagare. But when this Faye came in, he was using Kessie. And Kessie was able to command the midfield. He doesn't have that strength to run around anymore, but he can command and talk to players and be directing them on what to do. That was what Ekong was also doing. And I was expecting that this man, what's it called, Pesero, will also bring in Ahmed Musa so that he can use that experience up front. Since Ekong is doing it behind, you need experience in that final match. But he decided to keep Ahmed Musa on the bench and instead use Chukwueze. Chukwueze, for me, is an intelligent player that knows how to study a game. And when he comes in as a substitute, you can easily change the game, not you starting that player.
Okay, Chris, let's go to the Nigerian football ruling body headquarters, the NFF. What's the language you're seeing on the wall concerning the coach? Some believe that you can't sack a winning coach, but with the man you've just mentioned, after the cut paid, salary cut paid, and struggling to start the FIFA World Cup, and then he eventually went to the Cup of Nations and went beyond his mandate. Just one step away or one win away from the African Cup of Nations. What is the language you are seeing from the NFF as far as the coaching job is concerned?
Well, if to read their mind, I think they want to keep him. But I doubt if this man will want to stay.
Is it from the Algeria story you're talking about?
Yes, he has been saying he wants to leave.
Oh, he says he wants to leave?
Yes, he said he was going to win the trophy for Nigeria and leave.
But now he didn't win the trophy.
I
so
don't
will he
think
still leave?
Because there is a job waiting for him in
Algeria too.
Algeria also. A job waiting for him. So I want to believe he wants to try somewhere else. But he has forgotten that he used us to boost his CV. He used Super Eagles to boost his CV.
Is NFF desperate to keep him?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
In spite of the result he has.
Because if you look at the man himself, he has been very controversial. Somebody told me in the NFF that he's a very stubborn coach. And I saw it in the training, in everything at the AFCON, that this man is a stubborn coach.
How do you read a stubborn coach?
Of course, if somebody is suggesting something that you think is good and he doesn't want to take, he's stubborn. They suggested to him they should go with some home-based player. And I also bought into it. I actually told the person that this is what I'm seeing. This team does not, it lacks physicality. And they told him, he said, no, he doesn't want any home-based player. And if you watch AFCON throughout, the only person that was very physical in the midfield was Oyeka. The work was too much for him. If we had somebody on the bench, maybe you sub such person. Alhassan is not a physical player. He's a good player, but he's not a physical player. So if you look at 10 years ago, 2013, when Lekeshi won it, he went with some home-based player. That goal, Mbasco, it can only take an home-based player to take such risk. So the home-based player, they are not known. They want to make name for themselves. So if we are going with home-based player, one or two, if you look at that team, some player did not even kick the ball. They were just on the bench. Why not go with the home-based player? Even if you are not going to play them, they can understudy these guys, the foreign-based player, and become better players. Look at Olorunleke. I'm very sure he must have learned so many things while in camp. So I think Peseiro, for me, I would have loved him to go. He has done well. He's a fantastic coach. The formation he brought in has actually helped our team, but he's not helping us. I expect him to have gotten one or two players from the home base. We need to develop our league. We can't continue relying on the foreign-based players.
But he's a foreign coach, so he should.
But that was not what he promised. When he first came, he told us he was going to bring in, he knows Nigerian players very well, he was going to bring in home-based player. And at the point, he was going around to watch Nigerian leagues.
He brought you a goalkeeper.
Olorunleke. And guess what? He doesn't dress him during matches. He only dress two goalkeepers, one on the pitch, one on the bench.
Chris was at the African Cup of Nations telling us some of those stories that some of us didn't see. It's quite interesting and, of course, not also too sweet for us because just a win away, Nigeria got the opportunity to dash out to host Ivory Coast. Let's come back home here. Much is going on as far as the development of soccer is concerned in the country. The Nigeria National League is doing everything possible to reposition the development of football in the country. The league went on break courtesy of the African Cup of Nations, which took place in Ivory Coast. We are told that the team is expected back in action. A total of over 383 goals were scored in the matches played in the first half of the leagues. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be listening to the chairman of the Nigeria National League. The chairman of the board will be speaking on plan for resumption and the way forward. This is TalkSport right here on Global TV, Nigeria's capital city. Don't go away. When we come back, there's more. Chris is still in the house. He will be telling us how a stubborn coach looks like. When we come back, there is more. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. If you're just joining us, the program is Talk Sport right here at Nigeria's capital city. This is Global TV. Let's take you straight to the headquarters of the NNL, which is the Nigeria National League, the development of what that has been described as Cash Gem Young. The chairman at a press conference yesterday talking about Mr. George Abu says the team is doing everything possible to ensure a successful outing in the second stanza of the ongoing Premier League. He said the first half was fantastic. Let's listen to the chairman of the NL.
Football is all about media. It's media event. Without the media propagating what we are doing, Nigerians will not know the efforts that this body is making to make the NNL the most important league, not just on paper, but in the recess of the world, because this league is the most important league. It is the bridge between the amateur league and the top league. And once that bridge is not solid, the domestic league will never fly. So this league is the most important league. And what the mandate will have from the president of NFF, Alhaji Ibrahim Guzo, is to make the league better. He carefully selected those who are in charge of not just the NNL, but those who are in charge of the NPFL, the Women's League, and the NLO. And we are doing our best to actually live up to that mandate. Let me quickly start by congratulating him and the entire board of NFF for the wonderful performance of the Super Eagles at AFCON 2023 in Côte d'Ivoire. Nobody gave that team a chance. Nigerians did not give that team a chance. But the NFF worked quietly, made sure that that team was well prepared. They were in Abu Dhabi before flying to Lagos all the way after their build-up. And at the end of the day, the result is what we saw. So it's not a function of making noise. It's a function of strategic planning on the part of the president of NFF and his entire team. And at the end of the day, we saw the result. A team that nobody gave a chance got all the way to the finals. And I'm sure, if not for all the forces were just too much against the Super Eagles. Nigerians may not know what those boys went through in that final game. Playing against the hosts was not going to be difficult. It was not going to be easy at all. And at the end of the day, they gave it their best shot, scored first, were 45 minutes away from glory. But at the end of the day, we did not come with the trophy. And a very grateful nation decided to reward those boys because it was like a golden silver. And we all saw it. Kudos to the #1 citizen of our great country, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, who deemed it fit to reward those boys with national honor, member of the Order of the Niger, and gave them a flat each in Lagos. And the Minister of FCT, to show his appreciation to Nyesom Wike, decided to give them a plot of land each. That shows you that this nation is grateful for what those boys did. And I remember the president saying at Aso Rock that look man, no they look anybody face. That shows you that the president was watching. Lookman, the performance of Lookman, Trosekong, all of them, he commended them. And what that means is that, go and mark this. The way the president received those boys shows that he has fired them up for the World Cup qualifiers. I see the Super Eagles coming up in June smoking because those boys are happy with what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did to them. And I see Nigeria landing in the biggest World Cup ever in 2026. Talk about USA, Mexico, and Canada. And we are not just going to qualify for that World Cup. We are going there to show again what the Super Eagles did on that Clemens Westerhoff. That was our first ever World Cup. 94. And we turned out to be, in fact, we were just 2 or 3 minutes away from glory. Yeah. We were almost going to beat Italy. But despite the fact that we didn't beat Italy, FIFA acknowledged that Super Eagles then was the most entertaining team in the world. And the present crop of players we have in these Super Eagles are ready to prove it again. Fantastic players we had out there in Côte d'Ivoire. So I say kudos to them. Then back to the NNL. You can see that you all agree with me that the season has started very well. The first stanza went very well. Officiating was near perfect. Human beings, we cannot talk about perfection. No man is perfect, but near perfect performance on the part of everybody involved. And where we saw some shortcomings, this board did not hesitate to take immediate action to give clear signals that what we want is a very competitive league. And we saw the results on the road. I think the CEO will give you all those statistics later. Clubs were getting results, unlike in the past. So it's a case of when you play well, you win, irrespective of where you are playing. And then we engage in so much monitoring. All the board members were all at one venue or the other, monitoring how these matches were going on. And this a fallout of that monitoring that has brought us where we are today. Everybody is commending NNL that the season in the first stanza has gone very well. Then we are not oblivious of the fact that the big challenge is the second stanza. That is when clubs are desperate. Those who want to get promotion, those who want to avoid relegation. So we are preparing very well for the second stanza of the league. And we are going to increase by 100% the energy that we put into the first stanza. You see that in the first stanza, referees' indemnities were taken care of. Before they go for their matches, they get their indemnities. In the second stanza, we intend to continue in that stead. Some matches were taken live, courtesy of our partners at Global TV. We did a whole lot of test run. We started here in Abuja. Then we now took it to outside Abuja. Took matches from Enugu, took matches from Lagos, and took matches from Jigawa. So we intend to go to the next level in the second stanza so that Nigerians can see more of these matches. And where the matches are not even on TV, we ensure that host teams allow the visiting team to stream, so that those who can't watch on television can at least follow the live streaming of these matches. We intend to ensure that all of this. Then in the area of security, we didn't experience any kind of violence except in one match, which was Malumfashi versus Sokoto United, and we took prompt action. Malumfashi has been banished now to Kaduna, where they will play their next round of matches. And then we want to commend the clubs. All the clubs have been wonderful. They embrace the spirit of fair play. Nigerians can now go to NNL matches and enjoy themselves, because football is all about friendship and not war. So to the club managers and Nakoma as a body, we say thank you and kudos. And we expect that we'll get more of this cooperation when the second stanza starts, so that at the end of the day, it is the better teams that will gain promotion, although that will be decided at the Super 8. And then those who are not, that didn't perform very well, will go to the NLO. And that is where we say that the league is the most important league. We take teams from NLO, and then we take teams to the MPFL. And the teams that we took to MPFL this season, to show you that the NNL teams, NNL is a very strong league, are doing well in MPFL. Sporting Lagos is one of the best clubs in the country today, and it came from NNL. And Kano Pillars are back, they are doing very well. So the NNL is the most important league, and we appeal to the media, because you are the ones that will sell what we are doing to the Nigerian public. To support us with all the publicity, I want to thank you for what you have done so far, and to appeal to corporate Nigerians to come and be part of NNL, because we all want to see good football. We want to see a competitive league, but it is money that will make all of this possible. We know how much that we need now to pay referees indemnities. If not for the support we are getting from the Nigerian Football Federation, we won't be able to do all of this. So, but we want to appeal to Nigerians, corporate bodies, to identify with us. It is only when they identify with us that we'll have the money. In fact, if we have the money, we'll even increase what we are giving out to the referees, because they are the ones that will make sure that the matches are played under a very free and fair atmosphere. So my appeal to corporate Nigerians is to support the league. Like the late Ernest Okonkwo will say, when you cheer when a goal has been scored, you are only reacting to an action. But when you cheer when a goal has not been scored, you are motivating an action. So we want corporate Nigerians to motivate us. When we are motivated, we will do well and the league will grow. Because it's only when the league grows that the national team will be solid. Already, one or two of our players are now in the under-20. Madiba player has been invited to under-20. That shows you that the league is competitive. And we want to appeal to the national team coaches. Four invitations. So we want to appeal to Jembrila and all that. So we want to appeal to our national team coaches to come and see our players. NNL players are good enough for Super Eagles, not even under-20 alone. These boys are good for under-17, they are good for under-20, they are good for under-23 and the Super Eagles. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And let me say a big thank you for coming to this place to rub mind with us.
National League chairman talking tough on the soliciting for support. Chris, let's come back. What exactly does the National League need in terms of to move the league to the next level? You were in Nigeria, you saw the first stanza. Would you want to give them the same praise we've received from the board chairman?
Well, I want to first of all commend Global TV. This is what our national TV is supposed to be doing, but they left it in the hands of private individual, and good enough Global TV came to the rescue. And I also discovered that the media department of the NNL, they are not helping matters. They've been selective. I met the chairman of the league board in Côte d'Ivoire, and I told him, I said, you don't run a league by selecting people, selecting some media and leaving out some. Because this media, some people, everybody has his own reader. Everybody has his own listener. Everybody has his own the people they watch. So you don't leave anybody out. You don't know who is listening to the other person. So I think they need to work on that. They didn't carry many media houses along. I think that is what they are lacking. If not for Global TV, I don't think anybody will know that a league like that is existing. Then the other aspect is the issue of age. What's it called? Age cheat. If it's possible, let us make sure that it's only our secondary school. Once you finish secondary school, you are the only one that is qualified to play the NNL. That is how we can develop. Look at the championship in England. Most of them are 18 years, 17, 16 years. That is what we should be doing, not allowing old men in their 30s, in their 40s to be playing Nigerian NNL. And you are telling me it's a grassroots or it's a league where you can select players into the junior team. I think we need to work on that.
Okay, let's look at the coming of this board. Have they done much that needs to be desired?
Well, for them to have brought in Global TV, I think they have done well. That's the only area I would commend them. But for the other things, I've not been feeling their impact. Before now, we used to. And another thing is that there's a do or die syndrome in the league. That is why our referees are also not doing well.
But not today. Of course,
because I've watched Nigeria.
We've seen a lot of away win. He calls it win on the way. There are about 27 away win and about 24 draws. This hasn't happened in Nigeria history.
It used to happen even in the MPFL. It happens, but towards the end of the league, you see so many things will be happening. That is how you can rate them, not from the beginning. It's towards the end. You see so many things, money exchanging and just to manipulate matches. You know.
We are told that the committee has set up several committees, according to the chairman, to ensure that what we saw in the first stanza of the ongoing NLL will be the same thing we would see in the second stanza, expecting to kick off in the first week of March. Let's look at the positive side. The role the NLL is playing in the country development. On your own part, they have clubs across the country. You've just said something very, very important, that we should be mindful of age limit.
Yes.
Of course, if this is the food basket of footballers, then when you have over age, it will be difficult for any transition to the national team. Can there be any way, a policy where we have a bracket of some of these players so that we don't waste our resources for
That's
players
what I'm
that can't make
saying.
it?
If once you finish your secondary school, your school is there, one can easily trace the school where you finish from. So that is one of the ways. For me, but when you depend on birth certificate, people can easily forge that. People can easily forge that. It's not helping us. There was a tournament in MPFL, the under 15. When I was an assistant coach of one of the teams in NNL, one of our players, who is even more than 20 years, went and played under 15. So we are doing ourselves. Even the player is doing himself. So I think we are not helping matters. Once we are sincere with ourselves, we'll get the best players in our national teams. And we'll do well. And they will last longer than usual. Look at the likes of Kanu Wako, Mikel Obi, Yobo. They stay longer in the national team because they use their real age. So I think if we can just work on that, it will help us. And before I stop, I want to also talk about the referees. I think it is time for the MPFL, the NLL, and others to start helping our referees. We cannot continue officiating the old ways. The reason why we don't have any referee in this just concluded African Cup of Nations is because none of them know how to use the VAR or communicate. We don't use all those gadgets in Nigerian league.
But we have the likes of Prince, of course, Promise Pekin.
So apart from Promise, who else? And Promise no longer officiating. I'm talking about the active referees. They cannot use the gadgets, and it's not good for us. It's from your league that they will know. CAF said something while we were in a press conference one day. He said any country that does not use VAR in their league cannot officiate our matches. So what it means is that there's no hope for our referees in all CAF tournaments in future. So there's need for us to start working towards that.
The RAF, it's very, very important. We saw so many goals disallowed, goals from our own Victor Osimhen. So it will be very, very good for us at home to start using technology to enhance the beautiful game of football. Now, let's look at the NLL. They were supposed to have resumed after the Cup of Nations, but we are told that some clubs in some of the conferences were demanding for additional time to enable them prepare. It looks like it's an open window where new players can come in. Do you really think we have a league at the grassroots level that can produce players? Because we just saw the African Cup of Nations, and we are surprised that no local player from home made it.
Just like I said, we need to encourage them. How do you encourage them? By taking them to tournaments.
Can they play?
Of course, why not? Just like I told you, just recently I was one of the assistant coaches of EFCC Football Club, and I've seen so many good players, even goalkeepers. Some of them have even gone out of the country. We have so many good players. The problem is that we don't control the way they move. Many of them leave when the league is on. So it's not helping us. Before you know, some of them will go to obscure leagues where just because of this foreign currency, they just want to move anywhere. Where they don't play good football, they want to move there. So the league also needs to do something about that. They should know. Some of them don't even know. Some clubs don't even know. The league don't even know the players in a particular club. So when these guys are changing players for another player, they don't even notice it. I think it's not good for us. There is need for us to bring a professional. I keep on saying something that there's nothing wrong in copying somebody. When you copy somebody, you can even do better than that person. They can go to other leagues that are doing well. You can go to EPL, or the championship in England. Go and understudy, look at how they do things there, and come back and do the same thing here, instead of you using just your idea, which might not help us.
All right, Chris, we want to say a very big thank you to you. We'll be pausing now to welcome Samuel on the program to tell us where the Super Eagles is as far as the latest ranking is concerned. Chris, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Chris is one of us who was in far away Ivory Coast for the African Cup of Nations. Let's take a pause. And when we come back, Samuel will be with us right here in the studio. Love to have you back on the program. Talk Sport right here on Global TV, coming away live from Nigeria's capital, City. The month under review, the performance of the Super Eagles of Nigeria has given us a reason to celebrate because the team is gradually gaining momentum. Samuel is here in the studio. Samuel, you saw the latest ranking. At what points is the Super Eagles?
So far, we were down like at 42 points. 42 place, 42nd place, in the Super Eagles. That's where we are ranked by the FIFA in the last ranking section. But now we've gone up by 14 to the 28th place, and so far so good. It's a good position, and I know come World Cup qualifiers and all in the World Cup too, we are going to go further because these boys are really hungry and they want to really play more, and then they play a very good football game during the AFCON, and then it was just sad for us not to, get the win and come back home with the trophy.
Super Eagles of Nigeria making remarkable progress in the latest FIFA ranking. In the month of January, we are hoping that as we clock February, the team will bounce back to occupy one position that will make us smile. The best the nation has ever had is the 5th position in the days when the Super Eagles have the like of the one we call Iyakini. But let's come back here. Today we have Victor Osimhen, who was in the African Cup of Nations. Narrowly, we lost out to Ivory Coast, who hosted the African Cup of Nations. What do you think can maintain the Super Eagles maintaining the position ahead of countries like Morocco?
They just need to maintain the same momentum that they used, during their games with Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and South Africa. They just need to maintain the same momentum because had they maintained the same momentum during this game with Ivory Coast, we would have had a different result because, come on now, we had the first goal and then somehow we relaxed and then the intensity wasn't there. We relaxed and then we lose out in the finals. But I mean that they need to maintain the same intensity when they are playing. Even if they are 2 goals up, they need to keep fighting as if they are still playing goalless draw. Despite, the challenges, I feel Nigeria has played against 13 men on the finals because they played against the referee and Ivory Coast and 60,000 people in the pitch. So far, so good, though we didn't get the result we wanted, but it was sad that we lost. It was really, really sad.
Samson, personal observation saying we played against 18 is not at the point of the global TV, but we know that it was 11-11 at all. Samson, want to say thank you very much for being part of the program. He is a team member as far as Talk Sport is concerned right here on Global TV. And that's how far we can go on today's edition of the program, Talk Sport on Global TV. We wish you the best of sporting weekend. And remember, to be nice, we need to say a very big thank you to Samson and, of course, Okun, who also gave us support. Not forgetting Kelvin, who is also in the house in today's edition of the program, Talk Sport. Mr. Chris, merci beaucoup. Until we come your way again on Monday when Tony will be here, the roundup of Talk Sport on Global TV. Have a wonderful sporting weekend ahead of you. And I'm Clinton saying thank you.